Cirqué du Soleil began in 1984, but I think the journey started when I was 14, 15, when I first started to get on the street and perform there. And basically, I went through a journey.
Guy La Liberté in those early days was a fire-eating, stilt-walking street performer. Armed with no more than an idea and sheer audacity, he managed to convince the Quebec government to fund his small but very popular circus, and the rest is, as they say, history.
We basically treat Cirqué du Soleil show like any play or a Broadway production type of show. And that's what makes Cirqué du Soleil show what it is, more a theatrical experience than a circus experience.
Yeah, this is the third special we've done with Cirqué du Soleil homage for the Cirqué du Soleil. The first one, Kidam in Amsterdam, followed by Dralian in San Francisco. And I think the most interesting challenge is trying to marry the disciplines of television, which is often not that disciplined an area, with the super discipline and attention to detail of the Cirque. And I think that's forced everybody involved to really raise their game beyond their mettle.
Because hopefully I hope that the 4 or 5 months of preparation should eventually be successful and we should be ready. But there's always last minute kind of thing, as you know.
A lot of the time people will say, well, how do you take that magic that's Cirqué du Soleil of the live show and translate it into the other mediums? How can you take something that's such a grand scale and put it onto a little TV screen? Well, the answer, of course, is we can't recreate that same magical experience, but what we can do is design something specifically for the medium and that audience. In the case of our television specials, and hopefully you've just seen this one, you'll see that we take our audience right to the heart of the performance. We're able to go with 13 cameras and more into the emotional expression of our artists. We're able to show the physicality, and we're able to bring a whole new dimension that works very powerfully on a television screen.
rise next.
That's nice. Okay, get to play.
We want the experience of filming it to be like you're in the best seat of the house for every part of the show, and sometimes it's good to be down the front and sometimes it's good to be at the sides, because the show is designed to be an experience for everybody in the big top.
Josh will be appearing on the left. So let's throw the flame into the air and catch it.
There are two options: one, to put 30 cameras in the show in one night, which would be a bit impractical and also would destroy the atmosphere. People would just be surrounded by cameras. So what we actually do is bring in a lesser number of cameras, 13 cameras in fact, and distribute them over a couple of nights.
Let's get that nice detail. Set fire to the thing.
And somehow, out of all this mixture of shots that you can see behind me, we create something that hopefully becomes a moving and dramatic experience to watch.
And one of the major pain for a shoot like that is to control and manage box office, audience seatings, because of the camera position, because of the extra lighting position. So the real challenge is to make sure that you have the director to get the perfect shot, but at the same time we have to make sure that the customer who paid almost $100 for their tickets are not going to be too annoyed by the presence of cameras in the big top.
And the Cirque are very concerned about that. If somebody's show is at all being spoilt by cameras, they're seriously upset. So we've had to be very sensitive, and in fact we've dug holes in the ground to put the cameras rather than have the cameras in front of somebody. And that's the main technical problem, is how can we make this a brilliant show for the audience and therefore get the atmosphere that feeds the performers and therefore get a great video and not spoil it by the fact that our cameras are there.
Everything ready, budgeting, scheduling, make sure that everybody on tour is aware of what we're doing, get their collaboration, which was in fact very easy because they were all very, very enthusiastic.
For the filming, we wanted to respect what we have in the show on a daily basis. So what you will see on the video is actually what you will see if you come to see the show live under the big top.
Alegria is one of our, I think it's the only touring show that has never been shot for television or film. So it was a great challenge, and it was also a great thing for them to have us here, and it showed.
And with this, there's so much going on stage. There's characters that you wouldn't even notice if you've seen the show maybe 3 times doing things. That's why I think 75% of the audience who see it one time when it comes to Sydney come back the next time. And I think that's because there's so much in it. And as a TV director, that's really a challenge for me to try and